Hello. First video I talked about the importance of learning the melody. In this little video I'm going to talk about the importance of learning the chords to every song. Now most bluegrass music doesn't have a lot of chords. Some have more than others, but basically there's not a lot of chords. The thing to learn obviously is in what order they come in. But there's a real good reason for learning the chords, and that is that when you're playing in a group, you're only going to solo once, maybe twice, but most of the time you're going to be playing what other people are playing. You're going to be backing them up. And we can talk a lot about different styles of backup, if people are interested. But the first basic rule of backup, first basic thing to learn of backup, is what we call a vamp or a boom chuck, or some people call it a chop. And it's kind of a basic thing, and it helps you learn the chords. And it helps you learn the chord shapes. So, first thing is to learn this position, and this is your ring finger is on the 5th fret of the 4th string. Your third finger is on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. Index finger is on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and your pinky is on the 5th fret of the 1st string. Now this position, this is G major chord. It's called the F position, even though this is a G, because if you go back 2 frets, you have the notes in the F major chord. If you went down 2 more frets this way down the neck, you'd have the A chord. So the root, the G in this is on your 4th string. So the vamp is doing this. You hit the bass note, and then you pinch the other 3 notes. And the more important note actually is the pinch. The one thing you don't want to do is to hold out that note. You don't want to do that. You want to make it sound like a drum a little bit. And the banjo is a drum, by the way. It's a drum. So you want to make it sound a little bit like a drum. So, thing is, learn the chords of the song. Now, in Old Joe Clark, there are 3 chords. There's a G chord, there's a D 7th chord, and then there's an F chord in the B part. Okay? So we already know what the F chord looks like. I just told you. So the F chord looks like this. Okay? And it's really good to know that the F chord is here, because when we're going to play the lead, we're going to play the shape. Just like I just played, okay? So here's that chord, the shape. This is the F shape. That's the F. So let's play it. So the 3rd chord is a D7 chord, okay? And there's a lot of ways to play this, but I think since we're playing here, the easiest way to do it is to switch these 2 fingers. So I'm going to move my ring finger. I'm going to keep it on the 5th fret, but I'm going to move it to the 3rd string, and I'm going to move my middle finger, which is on this 4th fret here. I'll move it to the 4th fret of the 4th string. And when I chop, when I do the pitch, I'm going to do it with the these bottom 3 strings. I'm not going to play it. You could play it down to the D, but I'm just going to play this right here with my finger 1, 2, 3. And I think that's a little easier. You don't have to switch. All you have to do is switch your fingers here. The other way to do this is play a chord like this. That's a little hard. This is a little hard. And the other thing, they don't sound as percussive. They don't sound like a drum as much as this. The other reason is in Old Joe Clark, and sometimes in a lot of the bluegrass songs where you have this, This is a 5 chord. If you don't, music theory people call it 5 chord. But 5 chords go back to the 1 chord, like this. And in bluegrass, it often happens really quick. So an old Joe Clark goes, it goes like, so you just have to move your fingers a lot easier than moving your whole hand. So I'm going to play this backing track again with, this time I'm just going to try to play it along with the chords, okay? And see, hopefully I'm on. Let's see, here we go. Here we go. Fast. So one thing you do is just roll this back and try to play with me. Just play what I just did. That's the basic vamping pattern for old Joe Clark. Now, a couple tips here. One is if the guitar player is having a solo, don't play that vamp really loud. You don't have to, you don't want to pound it. You just want to, and you might even, if you're really good, you just play the second, you don't play the bass note at all, you just play this. You kind of play it soft, okay. When the fiddle is playing, fiddle is the loudest of the instruments. You can maybe do a little bit more, but you don't want to get any louder than the mandolin, because the mandolin's doing the same thing. Mandolin's doing something like this on the mandolin. They call it a chop, and that's most of the time that's how mandolin players. So you don't want to play so loud that you can't hear the mandolin chop. Now, when the mandolin has a solo, you want to make sure you're heard really clearly, because you're actually doing what the mandolin does most of the time. So you're actually playing the mandolin part when you do this. Okay. So just remember, really soft with the guitarist. With the fiddle, you can play louder, but don't play any louder than the mandolin player. And when the mandolin player is playing, you want to be able to hear. And again, it's the thing you need to hear is the rhythmic part of it. So you can practice that. And the other thing is you learn where the chords are, right? And so after a while you go, oh, Joe Clark, they're playing these same notes. Oh, that's the G chord. Oh, they're playing that melody out of the F shape, and then at the end, that's a little D chord. So after a while you can associate some of these melodies sounds with the chords that they go with, and so learn the melody first, then learn the chords. Then we'll talk about learning the A part to the banjo and then the B part.